Try to a man, he can take care of you.
That's how sex slavery starts.
Okay, Mom.
Those people want young, beautiful females. You are both safe.
You would be so lucky to fuck us, kid.
Oh, no, I would be very unlucky. You're like melted candles.
Sitting on the throne.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Let's Talk Movies podcast with your host here, Turbo Tony, and right beside me is Stacey Shalamar. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. Doing okay?
This feels weird. I haven't podcasted in a long while.
I know, and not with me.
And talking about things that aren't wrestling, this is a bit weird, but we're going to get there. This is going to be the first video on the relaunch of the channel, changing from Let's Talk Wrestling to Let's Talk Everything, basically. But today we're going to be talking about movies. And the movie we're going to be talking today is Snatched, starring Amy Schumer and Goldie Hawn. We went to see this literally an hour ago. We just came out.
Yeah, pretty much an hour ago.
Yeah.
Surprise movie.
Yeah. We had no idea what movie we were going to see. It was like one of these random pre-screenings that they do if you're like an exclusive like member of like some online.
Basically, we bought a shit ton of tickets, and the cinema was like, "Hey, want to go see a secret movie? It's just going to be a comedy action, €10. Here's your ticket. Here's a Coke. Here's a popcorn. You won't know what the movie is until you go see it."
Yeah. Except it will be a proper release. I initially thought it was going to be like an indie movie, but it didn't.
I thought it was going to be Pirates.
Pirates of the Caribbean, yeah.
We were worried it was going to be Peppa Pig.
I actually thought it was Snatched. I said to you beforehand that I thought it was this movie.
After extensive research online.
Yeah. Just because of the release periods, it already come out in America. It's yet to come out in Ireland, which is where we live. So we've seen it before it gets released over here. So
one of the terms of buying the ticket was they asked for us to write a review. So I think maybe they wanted Amy Schumer to have good stars.
Well, did she? Did she earn it? That's the big deal here.
That's it. To try and entice people to go to see if it had good stars.
Okay. Well, apparently, as far as we can see so far, because this is opening next to the King Arthur movie. King Arthur being the big...
with Charlie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ovaries.
Apparently that movie's not doing very well.
His accent was terrible, considering he's an English actor.
Yeah.
His English accent was horrible.
But alas, apparently for the big, starting of the summer blockbuster, apparently that is actually being beaten here by this movie in terms of how well it's opened. So that's not very good. Well, good for Amy Schumer, of course. But
yeah.
This is the latest of the Amy Schumer rise to fame. She's the latest big female comic coming out of America. She's starting to appear in movies. I think the biggest thing she's been in before then is Trainwreck, which is what you've seen.
That was so fun. That really was so much fun.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I know it as the John Cena movie because he was in that.
He was hilarious in it. He made that movie. Yeah. John Cena was the best in that. It's at that point that I was like, okay, maybe I like John Cena.
Okay.
Outside of wrestling.
So here's the thing, right, with this movie. And we're going to try and get as far away from spoilers or anything like this. But this is basically the synopsis of the movie. It basically follows mother and daughter, Amy Schumer and Goldie Hawn, as they basically go on a holiday and things go wrong. That's basically really and you can guess by the name of the movie, Snatched, what happens to them. You can put two and two together. I don't think they're trying to make it hard for you to figure out what the movie's about, shall we say. Now, this is I wouldn't label this as a comedy film.
No,
it's a comedy film. There's a few set pieces, but they're done for comedic effect. It's not like Tropic Thunder where there is some actual action in between and there's some explosions. I don't get the action part, but that's okay because to be honest, people don't go and see an Amy Schumer movie for action. They go and see it to laugh.
Yeah.
Personally, right from the get-go, I could fully understand that I am probably not the demographic for this movie because I have a penis.
Yeah, it's a Mother's Day movie.
You think when it came out?
It's for Mother's Day weekend in America. So yeah, it's a mother-daughter relationship thing.
Yeah, because there were a lot of people in that theater, and most of the people that are laughing were women.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you enjoyed it. So the thing about Amy Schumer that I find maybe not as funny as, let's say, the female demographic is that I find her to be a little bit too much like the female Adam Sandler in the case that she's a little bit of a one-trick pony. She's got like one kind of style of comedy. She sticks to it, and it works. But for someone like me, it's already getting old for me. Maybe it's because I'm older, a bit more cynical. Whereas back when in my youth, with the Adam Sandler stuff, I wasn't as cynical of that sort of style of comedy.
Well,
whereas
she does a lot of like fat jokes. She does a lot of vagina jokes.
She's very.
You can't relate to those.
Yeah. She's very. She's not afraid to make a fool of herself for the sake of
her angle
movie.
Seems to be that she's not your cookie cutter skinny blonde. That she's a fat girl. That she's a chubby girl.
Yeah, and you know the one who can't get a life together. Her boyfriend's just dumped her, and that's how her mother ends up coming along with her for this adventure, and things obviously go wrong.
So basically, the boyfriend dumps her because he wants to go get a lot of pussy.
Yeah,
because he's in a band,
and
she's like, "But what about if you see my pussy?" Like, no, I want to see 100 different pussies. It's fine.
Yeah.
So nobody else would go on holidays with her, so she invites her mother.
Yeah. She's just in a bad place.
But she reluctantly invites her mother.
Yeah. I when we talk about, I don't want to talk too much about Amy Schumer's character because I firmly believe that going in what Amy Schumer's character is going to be. If I'm honest, it's very cookie cutter. What you expect Amy Schumer to be in this movie is exactly what she is. I was actually more pleasantly surprised by Goldie Hawn. I mean, this is her first movie in almost 15 years. And this we're talking about an Academy Award-winning actress here, with she's popping out, actresses and actors as kids. Kate Hudson, probably the most famous of that list. So, she's a big name, but she just hasn't been around for long. I thought she was pretty good. I thought that she brought a human element.
Her character was believable.
Yeah, she was far more believable than Amy Schumer, because I feel that Amy Schumer.
Her character was extremely naive.
Yeah.
But the mother's character was just that, a mother.
Yeah. You could see where she was coming from, and this is from someone who isn't a mother, but you can see her trying to deal with a little bit of a dipshit of a kid. And constantly being like, stop fucking up, I'm telling you not to fuck up, and then you fuck up, and it's like, I told you that this would happen if you fucked up. So you can kind of relate a little bit more as maybe a more of a intelligent moviegoer, because you kind of get annoyed with Amy Schumer's character, constantly getting them into these situations. But
but then you had so Goldie Hawn is this overbearing mother.
Yeah.
Like, she's just this lovely mother when it comes to her daughter, but she has her son living at home who's agoraphobic.
Mm-hmm.
Can't leave the house.
Yeah.
And he calls her Mama. That fucking annoyed me so much. Mama.
I thought you'd get that, because that's normally the dynamic of Irish mums and their sons.
No,
sort of thing,
it's not. Not the mama, but yeah.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Not that exact
the apron
burping.
strings. Living at home. I remember when I was younger, go put on your cousin's dinner because they can't use a microwave. It's a man.
They can barely wipe their own ass.
I mean, they can do it. Just let them do it.
Like Cartman.
Yeah, they can do it.
Okay, so let's get to the meat and bones. This is a comedy film. You were laughing quite a lot throughout this movie. I could tell from coming out, you enjoyed it a lot more than I did. Just from reaction
Simply
alone.
just laughing. Yeah. It's a light-hearted movie. It's obviously about being snatched and almost going into the sex trade or whatever. We don't know what they were taking them for besides ransom.
Yeah.
But it was just funny. There was a few good one-liners. There was a few surprises. And the character that blew me away the most was Christopher Maloney's character.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Emmett from
he downright
Special
steals the
Victims
movie for the 5 minutes that he's involved in.
Yeah, he's in it for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
For a few scenes. But he is the star.
Here's the thing I want to get with, right? I thought the movie was actually better than I thought it would be going in, because I'm not the biggest fan of the sort of comedy that Amy Schumer does. I still wasn't impressed by her, but it seemed like everyone else that was had their 5 minutes in the movie, they all knocked out at the park. I'm talking about Joan Cusack, Wanda Sykes, Christopher Maloney, who I thought stole the damn movie.
I couldn't even believe it was him.
Yeah.
But I think Amy Schumer comes in and does her own thing, and we've seen that before, so we're bored of that.
Yeah.
But she gave the avenue for all the other characters.
Yeah.
There was that one girl, Barb.
Yeah, that's Joan Cusack. Yeah.
She didn't talk.
Yeah.
She did not have one line. She didn't utter a word in that entire movie.
Yeah.
And she was hilarious.
Yeah. She was good. I think, and Wanda Sykes, you know, when you got
She's
Wanda Sykes
hilarious
beside
anyway.
her, she could do enough talking for two characters. So I don't really mind that. But just going back to Christopher Maloney, how is this kind of double comedy? Like he was my favorite character by far, and he got the biggest laughs. I mean, between men or females, in the entire theatre.
He was hilarious. He really, really stole it from me.
Yeah.
I wish that I'd seen more of him on screen.
While it was funny to see like how he exits the movie, you kind of wish that he didn't exit the movie.
Yeah,
You
you
kind of
would.
wish that he stuck around, but it's
Yeah, like he says to the ladies, okay, so there's 3 of us and we need to take turns having watched. So I'm going to take the first sleep and you guys call me in 11 hours.
And he's like asleep before they could even.
I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah,
Like
the comedic timing on that was sublime. But that's what I'm getting at here. It seems to me as if you've got like this really great supporting cast of, you know, like Joan Cusack, Wanda Sykes, Christopher Maloney, and you just wish that they were involved in the movie more and more, because I feel as if like the dynamic from Schumer and Goldie Hawn can only go as far as what Amy Schumer can take it. And I'm still not the biggest fan of a comedy. I think the timing is a little bit off. I feel like sometimes like she just like almost like the way that I can equate it in terms of comedians, it's almost like she's a boxer and she's throwing punches like punch drunk. She'll hit you every now and then, but she's missing wildly sometimes. So she's throwing jokes out left and right in a hope that one of them will catch you. Yeah, a little bit. That's the only way I can really. Whereas when you've got, best way I can try and explain it as well is that Amy Schumer has a lot of time in the movie where she's trying to make something work. You've supporting cast that get maybe 5 minutes tops, and their time is so well spent. And it's almost like they're done like specific skits that were written before the movie was done out, and they're just placed in, and they're gold because they're very condensed, you know, and they're in there for, you know, they're there, and then they move on to something else, so they don't outstay their welcome. So it's one of those movies that, funny enough, if I'm giving praise, I've already said it to a lot. I think it's the supporting cast that really made the movie memorable. The things I'm going to remember it for is Christopher Maloney's character, for Wanda Sykes, for Joan Cusack, and maybe to a lesser extent some moments involving Amy Schumer. Don't want to completely shit on the woman, but
Goldie Hawn was good, but she was a background character.
She was the emotional weight to the story. Yeah,
she didn't grab a lot of focus. There was a really emotional part between the two of them.
Yeah,
that really got me.
But less so for Schumer, more for Goldie Hawn, though, because with Schumer, when she's crying and trying to get emotional, you can feel it as if it's almost too comedic when she does it. It's you know, I know she's trying, but I don't know. It just
you get to see her boob though.
Yeah, if you want to see Amy Schumer's tits in this, so. Just one. But you can come up with your imagination if you want to see the other one, I guess. What was the other?
Some of her jokes ran on as well.
Yeah.
You know the way they run on awkwardly, like Family Guy.
Yeah.
It goes over and over, and you're just like, oh my God, shut up.
Yeah. There's, but you know, like I said, it's one of those things here where I wasn't completely disappointed going into the movie, which, you know, when I've watched some of Schumer's stand up, I'm not impressed. I don't think it's that funny. And I like good, before anyone comes up and says, oh, you don't like female comics. I love a bunch of female comics.
Love Catherine.
Catherine Ryan. Big fan of her. But it's just maybe the way that Schumer does it, and I guess with the controversy of her joke stealing sort of stuff that's going around, you know, maybe I'm going, you know, thinking of that along the lines. I don't know. But I have to say that it's a movie that if you go and see, I think you'll get a laugh. If it's not from Schumer and from Hawn, it's from Mr. SVU himself, who comes out of nowhere and just makes a stab. It's from Wanda Sykes, who has her moments. And
I will say, though, if this wasn't our surprise movie, I wouldn't have seen this in the cinema.
Okay. Is that more of the marketing, or is it more like...
No, this is really just worth a rent. Watch at home. Download, whatever.
Really? I thought you would have gone higher, personally.
No, I reserve cinema for like my top picks, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Have to see those things in cinema.
Okay.
You can watch Snatched at home on the couch in your pajamas eating Dominoes.
Okay. You think? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Or you can laugh out loud and not worry that everybody else is going to be laughing at your laugh.
Is that more a thing on you though, or the movie, or?
No.
So you're definitely going with like a rental for this. We haven't even got a rating system. That's how early this whole thing is. But
Well, I always put movies into a download, a buy, and a cinema.
okay, we'll come up with a rating system and go, along those lines because
It's worth the download.
yeah. Listen, if you're watching this, let's say even like you're watching this with
Or
a
it's
partner.
worth, like, the Tuesday cinema thing is like a ticket for €6. It's worth that.
Yeah. I wasn't completely disappointed by the movie. I was entertained for some parts of it, but by no means was I entertained for all of it. And it is a weak movie when you look at it in the sense of like staying power. There's not a lot of scenes that is going to stick with me in the way that other great comedies have. But in terms of being a movie, that you watch overnight and you've got, you want some laughs that doesn't really make you think, and it's a fairly unpredictable story. I will give it that. Like, you don't quite know at times where it's going. Yeah. But it does come with its own pitfalls. I will say that if you're one of those people that isn't if you absolutely hate Amy Schumer, you're not going to watch this movie anyway because you despise her. But there is some, there's some silver streaks there with that supporting cast that come in and they do a 5-minute job each, and it works. And I really enjoyed what they had to do. I want to see Christopher Meloni do more comedy. And this is the first time I've ever seen this actor do comedy. And he hit out the park. Like I can't get over just how funny he was. His timing was the best. And he's not a comedic actor. He's not a comic.
He reminded me, though, of Trainwreck with John Cena.
Yeah.
John Cena stole that from me. He didn't talk. He did talk, obviously, but he didn't do much. He didn't crack a joke. He didn't smile.
Yeah.
And neither did Christopher Meloni's character. They weren't trying to be funny, but the words they used and their actions were funny.
Yeah.
He was just amazing.
Yeah. I'd like to see him do more. I really would. So yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a rental at most. I wouldn't do any higher than that personally, because I think once you've seen some of those cameos from these other actors and you've seen what they can do, the actual main meat and bones of the movie, I don't think it's enough to hold up for a second viewing or a viewing that you go out of your way to go and see, especially as it's but apparently it's doing well at the box office. I mean, you release these themed movies at the right time, they're going to do some business. I'm just very shocked. I mean, I'm looking at the projection here for Arthur, and that's got a lot of budget to make up right there, and I don't think that's going to get anywhere. And it's really bad news for a movie with a budget of 175 million to be outdone by this movie of 42 million on its opening. So
well, she did wear like the one outfit the entire movie.
Who, Schumer?
Yeah,
pretty much most of it. Yeah. So there we go. That's our review, guys. We give it a rental. It's got some laughs. It throws a lot of jokes at you and hopes that some of them get there.
I would say see it if you wanted a laugh.
Yeah.
It's not one you'd regret. I mean, there have been movies where I've just been like, I feel like suing the company. They've wasted precious time.
Yeah.
This was not one of those movies.
I will say there are some times in this movie where it's almost like it's holding on a joke and thinks it's far funnier than it actually is. And I think that's where some of the problems come with Schumer, because I think it's a lot of her parts where they hang on it and they expect it to be a lot more...
it's what I call like Family Guy, where they overdo a joke.
Yeah, and they go on for a bit too long. I don't know whether or not that's because they relied a little bit too much on ad-libbing or improvisation in certain scenes, and they went with what they thought was best, and they weren't particularly constructed as well as other parts of the movie. But regardless, I think we said. I think we said all we said about it. Guys, let us know if you've seen the movie or you're going to see the movie. Let us know what you think about it. And more important of all, let us know what you think of how we can improve our reviews, because, like I said, I came to this as a pro wrestling podcaster. I've got no idea. I'm not really a film critic. We're just doing
by
this.
The way, we always argue about movies. And then I've pulled the car over and threatened to leave him on the side of the road. Like, he's such a fucking moron sometimes when it comes to the little bits in movies that we fight over. Yeah, but
so are you. Like,
No, because I'm right every time. I pick up on these things, you don't. Don't even talk to me about Superman versus Batman. What was the last one we argued over? Was it Guardians? I think it was Guardians.
I think it was Guardians too. Yeah.
Threatened to never ever see a movie with you again. So if you have movies that you would like us to review, or series, or anything.
Well, we catch a lot of stuff on Netflix, and you know, I'm thinking of doing. We watched the horror that came out a few years ago, Unfriended, which is done entirely through Skype chat. So we're thinking of maybe doing. Well, I was thinking of maybe doing that just for a laugh. But in terms of like constructing reviews like this, guys, just give us some constructive criticism. Let us know if there's certain parts of movies that you want us to talk more about, things that we should go more in depth. I'm wading into new territories here. I did 3 years of reviewing pro wrestling. Now I'm going to be reviewing basically everything else. So I'm going to need as much help as I can.
Maybe we could review wrestling movies.
No. No, what are you going to do to me? No, we're not doing that. No, you could. No, I'm not doing that. that would kill me.
Why?
No, I'm not doing that.
You know what to do, guys. You know what to do.
All right then, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hope you have a great time. And until the next review, we'll see you then. Bye-bye.